The whole story is in chapter 1. Habakkuk is like, yo, God, we are still in captivity. You said that if this, and this happened, that we will no longer be in captivity. What's up? Right? That's what he says in chapter 1. Sonja's translation. Hey guys, it's me, Sonja, and we back with another video, and we still talking about dreams. We still talking about what in the world do we do to make sure that we get those dreams meeting reality. And this week, we're going to be talking about how clearing your mind allows you to hear your dreams. But before we go and do all of that, let me introduce myself. Hello there. My name is Sonja, a SonjaW coaching, where we help overwhelmed, multi-passionate women learn how to acknowledge, live, execute, and win their dreams. We're all about making sure that your dreams meet reality here at SonjaW Coaching. So guys, listen, last week I gave you a little bit of encouragement about your dream, right? Just talking about what to do when the dream drags on. But check it out. To make sure that you actually see those dreams, we got to do some work, okay? And one of the main things that I have learned to really do is brain dumping. Now, I'll be honest, I don't do it as often as I need to, but every single time I do it, I realize what I've been missing. So I want to make sure that I tell you guys the secret to this, the secret to being able to hear your dreams, okay? So let me talk about it a little bit. And actually, when I was thinking about this video, it reminded me of a couple of verses that I absolutely love, okay? So I'm going to read them, and then we're going to bring it all together. We're going to bring it all together, okay? So let me read it. Habakkuk 2, verses 2 through 3. And it says, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. So he may run who reads it." That's a whole nother thing that we could talk about. People are supposed to run with your dreams. That's why you write them down. That's why you go after them. Because when they're clear, people are able to run. Okay, moving on. Verse 3. It says, "For still the vision awaits its appointed time. It hastens to the end. It will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it. It will surely come. It will not delay." So, okay, let me tell you how all this works together, okay? So, brain dumping allows you to hear, and let me break it all the way down for you. One thing that I learned in this intentional living life, productivity, all that kind of stuff, is like one quote that I always remember from this guy. His name is David Allen, and he set up this whole productivity method called getting things done. Amazing, amazing. And one thing that he always talked about is brain dumping. And he said this quote, and it has stuck with me. He said, "Your brain is made for having ideas, not holding them." And that's the whole point and concept of brain dumping. Our brains can take care of what is in our head, just little bits of it, right? But when we hold ideas, when we hold things in our mind, when we hold issues and all that kind of things in our mind, we never have the room to actually execute on the desires of our heart and execute on the plans that honestly God has for us, right? Just think about it. Think about your desk right now. Think about it right now. What it look like? Is it cluttered? You got a lot of papers on it? Is it, you got all these bits and bobs, you got your little post-it notes all over the place? Okay, you got it in your mind? How do you feel? Do you feel anxious, frustrated, confused? Do you feel like, I don't know where to start? Now, imagine your desk clean. Imagine it with nothing on it except for your computer or whatever thing that you use to work. Now, how do you feel? Don't you feel lighter? Don't you feel freer when that happens? That is the whole idea when it comes to your brain as well. Your brain is the same way. When you have a whole bunch of things in your head, cluttering your mind, cluttering your space in your head, you don't have room to actually do the work. You don't have room in your heart and in your mind to do the things that you need to do, because you're thinking about, oh no, I gotta go get that milk from the store, or oh no, oh my gosh, there was something else that I had to do. What was it? What was it? And that's because your brain is absolutely cluttered. And that is what brain dumping helps you with. It helps you to declutter your brain. So let me give you 3 things to do. 3 things that are going to help you learn how to brain dump and clear your mind so that you can actually hear the dreams of your heart. Okay, let's get to it. Number 1, stop and pause for a moment. Now, at the beginning of this, I gave you 2 verses. I gave you Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2 and verse 3. But let's back it up to verse 1 of that chapter. Habakkuk said, I will take my stand at my watchpost and station myself on a tower and look out to see what he, God, will say to me and what I will answer concerning my complaint. That is, so the whole story is in chapter 1. Habakkuk is like, yo, God, we are still in captivity. You said that if this, and this happened, that we will no longer be in captivity. What's up, right? That's what he says in chapter 1. Sonja's translation. So then he comes in chapter 2 and he's like, okay, bet. I know who you are, God. So I'm going to stand still, get up high, and watch, right? This is what essentially brain dumping is for your brain and for your dreams. It's an ability to stop for a moment and get everything that's in your head out. Okay? So the first thing is stop and pause for a moment. Pause for a second. Look out at the horizon of your life. Just look out and see what comes up. The second thing to do is to write it down and make it plain. That comes from verse 2. It says, and the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets. That is the second thing to do. Write it down. So you taking a moment to pause. You taking a moment to say, okay, this is what's happening. Now write it all down. Write it all down in a list, on a piece of paper, someplace where it can get out of your brain and onto paper. Now, the really cool thing, and you get really into this brain dumping thing, David Allen actually calls it clarifying. And what he says to do is that you literally take a stack of paper, whatever, it could be Post-its, it could be little index cards, and you write down everything, one thing on one card. So, wash my hair. That's one. Write a to-do list for my groceries, or write my grocery list. That's another card, right? But you don't have to do all that. This, because I want to get to a daily practice for you, right? And that daily practice could be just pulling up your phone and writing down a to-do list in your notes app, right? So write those things down, and then you go back and you run with the items. I love the second half of verse 2 where it says, so you write down the vision, make it plain, so he may run who reads it. That's the third thing to do, so that you can run with these items. The way that you run with these items is to actually plan their execution. So it's not just writing down what's all on your mind and just throwing it away somewhere. No, it's writing it down and then making a quick plan for it. And not even a full plan. Figure out what the next thing is to do for this, right? And then put it in your calendar. Maybe actually do it right now if you have the time. But do the next step. Because this is what's going to give you confidence that it's going to get done, and you don't have to think about it in your brain. Because a lot of the times when we write down lists, we don't write down the next step, and they're still on our brains, or they're still on our hearts to do, and we still are anxious because we don't trust that we have the next step planned out, right? So the third thing, again, is to run with those items. schedule time to do the thing. Figure out what the next item is. So for instance, writing down my grocery list. So write a grocery list. What's the next thing that I need to do? I need to actually write the grocery list. Okay. Can I do it right now? Should I do it right now? Answer that question. And then if you can do it right then and there. If you can't, schedule a time to do it and then honor that schedule. Okay? So those are the three things. You first stop and pause a moment. Get up high, take a moment, breathe, and look at the horizon of your life. Then write it down. Write it down and make it plain for yourself. Write down whatever it is that you need to do. You can either write it down in a to-do list fashion, or you can go the whole nines and write each item down on a separate piece of paper like I described a little earlier. And then finally run with it. Decide what the next best thing is for that item, right? So now when you got all of that out of your head, all of that ready to go, now you can dream. Now you have the capacity to actually start dreaming a little bit. Your brain probably is already starting to think about new ideas and new things to do, right? That's because your brain is finally clear. And that's the power of a good brain dump. So now go and dream. And then you'll probably need to do this cycle again once you start writing down all those dreams. But anyway, guys, I hope this was helpful for you. Make sure that you are doing that. Clear your mind so that you can hear your dreams. And that is when you'll be able to run with all the things that God has called you to do. Run with the things that He has set apart for you to do. Okay? So if you love this, if this was your thing, go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe so I know it's real and I know that I'm giving you what you need. All right? I hope y'all have an awesome, awesome day wherever you are.